A lot of people have been reaching out in the last couple of days being like, is everything okay? I'm so sorry that this is happening to you, all this stuff. And I'm really appreciative of the wonderful, kind, thoughtful comments, right? And I keep telling them the same thing that I've been telling, that I was telling people back in April, when the first line of coordinated smears opened up against Abdul El-Sayed and myself as well. Because they did the exact same thing back then. They said I was a heinous anti-Semite. I had these abhorrent perspectives. This time, I think the pro-Israel Democrats and the Zionist movement is blowing its load because what they're saying about me is so ridiculous, especially when you see the actual quote itself, that this level of panicked response is not going to invoke the reaction that they want. Because the reaction that they want is for everyone to be like, well, if my favorite politician, Cory Booker, doesn't like this guy, even though I'm pro-Palestine, I'm going to turn around and also say this Hasan Piker guy is bad. That's the goal, right? You can't do that when it's a 90-10 issue. These guys are dumb. They're stupid. They think sincerely that me working with candidates is beneficial for me and not beneficial for the candidates. Or rather, they recognize that it's beneficial for the candidates and they want to stop it from happening. And they think if I get yelled at enough times, then candidates will shy away from working with me. Who cares? Why the fuck would that do anything to me? Electoralism is one fairly significant, but only one route. It's only one part of this theory of change. Elections are a popularity contest for your ideas, and we have proven them to be popular in spite of the attempts at subversion. We've already done our job. We've already done what we had to do. We brought in early donations. We allowed candidates to represent their ideas on a stage that they would never get by corporate gatekeepers. If candidates are too shy about that process, who cares? They can find their own route to success if they are capable of doing it. But it doesn't actually impact our movement at all. Because here's the thing. No matter what happens, even if all candidates were to turn around and be like, oh, I can never go on Hasan's stream again. I am so scared. It's always going to be smear after smear after smear. Okay. You think normies give a fuck about candidates, dude? Even this community of political autists, they leave when I have a candidate on. They don't care. Nobody actually wants to hear from the candidates. I'm trying my best to make it more palatable, make it more exciting for people. So it doesn't do anything to me. Me going out and helping candidates, boosting them, campaigning with them, door knocking for them. You only think that this is beneficial for me if you're stuck with the old guard mentality. You're like, oh, he's just doing it for clout. Like, I don't give a shit. This is not good at all. It's also not easy at all to activate under 45-year-olds to go out and fight, to go out and participate in the primary elections in midterm season. If you want to cast that aside because you're too worried about what kind of candidates end up winning in the process, well, go right ahead. My point is this, and I will repeat this over and over again. The left is here to stay. And I think the establishment understands that. And that's why they're trying to go after a messenger. That's why they're trying to defang the movement any way they can. That's also the reason why they are not so subtly attacking Abdul El-Sayed by way of attacking me. That's what they're doing. This is Bernie Sanders 2016 all over again. It's Bernie Sanders 2020 all over again, except this time it's different because we are now watching what would happen if Bernie Sanders had won the primary. You understand? We are now watching how centrist Democrats would have operated if Bernie Sanders won the 2016 primary, won the 2020 primary. It's very clear that there are centrist Democrats who would rather lose than to allow a left flank, a Bernie-crat, a social democrat, or a democratic socialist to win. This is a test, not for Abdul El-Sayed necessarily, or not just for Abdul El-Sayed, but this is a test for AOC. This is a test for potentially Ro Khanna. This is a test for whoever has ambitions of higher office as a left flank candidate. Corporate ghouls will come after you with unbelievable severity, with severity that they do not invoke for Donald Trump. It's true. Debbie Dingle says the questions about Hasan Piker are a Republican attempt that is meant to divide Democrats. Don't any reporter ask me again about Hasan Piker, says Debbie. Queen, they want you to go away. They want you to not feel hope. That is clear to me. They want us not to participate in this process. They want us not to have any role in electoralism at all. I think most people understand that if you're a prominent critic of Israel, they're just going to fucking lie about you. That's the only thing that I have faith in. That's the broad point that I tried to get to, right? The summary of all of these events is that if you oppose Israel very publicly, then Israel's defenders will lie, will smear you, will use a sophisticated influence peddling operation to come after you in a multi-pronged, multifaceted line of attack. They will lie about you. They will smear you. But ultimately, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter for two reasons. One, it's already over for Israel. In the minds of the majority of Americans, in the minds of the masses, it's done. Israel is done. It's a pariah, and it will only get less popular as time goes on. That's number one. Number two, most people also despise the way that corporate media attacks critics of Israel. So when they see this kind of stuff, I don't think the impact of this kind of coordinated smear campaign is a lot of boomers looking at what I have to say and going, I'm terrified that this guy is a popular figure in the Democratic Party. I think they just go, why are they coming after this guy? Oh, it's because he's anti-Israel. Well, I'm anti-Israel too. Fuck him.
I'm tired of people trying to drag me into it. I strongly disagree with many of the things that Hasan Piker said, from Israel to, quite frankly, if you're a woman who has fought against sexual violence and domestic violence her whole life, what he has said about rape, etc., is simply inexcusable. I don't understand some of the followers and why they follow people. And I got in trouble when I said, maybe it's generational. He works out and they say he looks buff. What he has said is just wrong.
I'm sorry. It's still funny to me. Yeah, I know she accused me of something so heinous and something that's like completely untrue, but I can't get over the fact that she keeps saying that I'm buff. I know that's not the point. That in and of itself betrays the severity of the accusation. What do you mean? Oh, he's like a buff rapist? Like, what the fuck are you saying? Why would you follow that up? It just immediately betrays the heinous smear that you tied it to when you turn around and you say, you know, a lot of young people like this guy who is pro-rape apparently. Maybe because he's hot? What are you saying, Debbie Dingle? Why are you saying stuff like this? It doesn't even make sense. Maybe it's because I'm not a fucking rape advocate, you psycho. What's wrong with you? No one talks about an actual pro-rape activist, if you want to call it that, Andrew Tate, in these terms, right? No one says like, well, you know, a lot of young men love Andrew Tate, maybe because he's fucking buff, okay? Maybe because of his hot bod. That doesn't make any sense.
What I think it's incumbent upon Abdul to make it very clear to people that he doesn't agree with things that Hasan Piker says. I pray we're not going to see him in Michigan from now until the election, but I'm focused on getting health care back for the people that I
like. If I'm running around doing pro-rape advocacy, you should never want me to be in Michigan. Again, this also doesn't make sense. Oh, once the election's over, Hasan Piker can come back to Michigan so we can do like pro-rape rallies. You know who's pro-rape, by the way? Israel. The fuck? Israel had a pro-rape January 6th, Debbie. Them's talk about you like you're the Baba Yaga. Yeah, I know. It's so funny that they do unironically treat me as Che Guevara style figure, which is, you know, very kind of them to do so. But I'm probably far less radical than many of these historic figures that I admire. Like, let's be real. I can't hold a candle to any of these folks. They are amazing. They've done amazing things. I'm trying something entirely different. Now, of course, the material conditions are entirely different in America in 2026. So obviously there's that element here as well. But like, it is pretty wild how they treat you if you're just like a basic social democrat in your policy advocacy, right? I mean, they did this to Bernie as well. Bernie was like, I'm a socialist. And then you look under the hood and everything that he was advocating for and everything that any electoralist socialist is ever advocating for, even if they want something that would be considered radical, a complete retooling of capitalism, dismantling of capitalism and building socialism instead. When you are running on the electoralist route, it's going to be incremental changes, and those incremental changes are basic social democracy. And people who say basic social democracy get cast aside as a reincarnation of Lenin. They're like, oh my God, you want socialized medicine? You want anti-militarism? You want our tax dollars to be spent here? What are you, fucking Joseph Stalin? Could you explain why people say you're pro-rape? Because they're lying, chatter. What do you mean? How else can I put this? They're lying. There's a million different ways that they lie about everything. I mean, look at the last 48 hours in the media, in the news cycle. They took a very basic quote of mine that I have repeated in speeches all around the world at this point, something that people have talked about for decades. Like Hannah Arendt wrote about this, about how the blame would fall on the entire Jewish community if Israel is presenting itself as a Jewish state that's going to be a violent state. Yeah, the attacks on Hassan are Orwellian. He constantly is accused of things he has not said. And it works because even well-informed people of a certain age can barely use YouTube, let alone watch Twitch and understand Gen Z discourse. Might as well be the dark web. So he always reaches the normies through intermediaries that frame and distort his words. I have literally seen them share clips of him reading chatter comments as evidence of his own arguments. The level of online illiteracy is staggering. Normally, he'd have normie allied pundits that would put in the work debunking these in mainstream media. But that's the issue. He has none because of what he says. It's frankly a depressing indictment on our current media environment. Yes, it's true. Newsweek. Democrats are fighting war over a man most voters have never heard of. Yeah, I know. That's what makes it even sillier. I really thought the Peggy Flanagan and Angie Nixon victories would actually put to bed this idea that I am the singular force that's like anchoring this movement. I am not. Or at least my impact doesn't have to be direct involvements through campaigns if I have any impact whatsoever. Because I'm sure there are plenty of fans of mine who door knock for Angie Nixon regardless of my commentary on it because they saw someone that they liked in this candidacy. And the same goes for Peggy Flanagan, right? I guess that's some marginal impact, but the media doesn't understand my role. They do not comprehend the role that I play. They think it's just like, oh, I found out about him because he's going and doing campaigns with people, and that's the only thing he does. They don't understand it. That's why they think like severing a tie between myself and candidates, by the way, will be ineffective regardless, but severing this tie is going to hopefully destroy this movement broadly. It's stupid. It's dumb. Not only is it dumb because the problems are not going to go away, and someone like myself, I'm simply just a megaphone for these anxieties that people feel, a megaphone, a platform for the frustration that they feel towards the current system and how the current system places corporate profits over the interests of the masses, simply put. But as long as these issues are not solved, of course, people are going to look for an outlet. And even if it's not me, it'll be someone else. It's that simple. But of course, the idea that no one knows me now is probably wrong. There will most likely be another poll that comes out. This is from Echelon Insights in April 2026. The new poll will show that I am an unbelievably toxic figure. Don't worry. Because like people who are doing these sorts of polls are going to know me as someone who is an odious, toxic, repulsive, violent figure that is a stain on American democracy or whatever, because that's been the coverage. So now my disapprovals will be boosted. People think I'm a fucking terrorist. I mean, who gives a shit? Whatever, dude. I am a socialist. I am an anti-imperialist at the heart of empire, at the heart of capitalism, the country that won the Cold War and defeated the USSR. You think I'm not used to getting yelled at? You think I'm not used to losing? If anything, I'm not used to winning. You think the last decade of people coming in here and yelling at me has made me shy away from saying my positions, saying the truth? No. Why the fuck would I stop now? This is what I don't understand. When people go, oh man, they're really coming after you. Maybe you should take a break. I'm like, fuck no. It's time to double down.